Welcome, it's Domain Day from cheapwinefinder.com. Again, with another companion podcast for a wine we wrote up on the cheapwinefinder.com website. We write up a value-priced wine 3 times a week, and then we're done writing. We plug in the microphone, and here we are. And I went to Costco, and I picked up a $7.99 wine that actually got 90 points from James Suckling. I'll explain a little bit about that later. And it's the Chateau de Gretels Prestige Cahors 2021. Cahors is a village in southwest France, and in the vineyards around the village, they grow Malbec, and they're very famous for growing Malbec. And the other place in France where they used to grow Malbec a lot was Bordeaux. It used to be an integral part of the Bordeaux blend. It's not anymore, kind of because of the phylloxera stuff of the 1800s. And if you know Malbec, you know it from Argentina. And the grapes, the vines from Argentina came from Bordeaux. They did the DNA on that, and it went from there. Cahors, which isn't that far away from Bordeaux, their Malbec is completely different. It's smaller berries, it's a little more tannic. They're rather than being part of a blend like Bordeaux is a blend, these are single varietal wines, but this one isn't. This is 70% Malbec and 30% Merlot, which is something they do occasionally there. They're basically Malbec, a growing region, but they do Merlot. And Merlot is usually added to in France anyway, and other places, but definitely in France, to soften a wine. If a wine has some harder, rougher edges, then Merlot is added, and Merlot adds some really good flavor and some smoothness to it. And, red wine could always be smooth. This is $7.99 wine that sells for about $12 to $14 everywhere else. This vintage, James Suckling, who is the leading wine reviewer, he took over from Robert Parker Jr. Robert Parker is the guy that for years gave wine grades, 90 points, 100 points, 75 points, whatever. He kind of revolutionized wine, and actually winemakers started making wine to fit his tastes. He liked kind of big, bold, and juicy, spicy wines, and when he kind of hung it up and James Suckling took over, James Suckling kind of prefers more balanced wines. Those big and bold wines kind of went by the wayside, and now we're getting balanced wines. And that's what this is. It's really nice. It's on a terrace off the highest plateau in the region. So it's a terrace to, so they're balanced. You get a lot of fruit. Each lot is picked separately. They macerate it. Macerations where they keep the skins and the juice together, soaking together, and this time 20 to 30 days, which gives it a lot of skin contact, which gets really ripe, a really dark color. And also a lot of the essential chemical compounds are in the skins, and so that's where the tannins are. Red wines have tannins. Tannins kind of give the wine structure. It was aged on lees. That's where the dead yeast is kept in the wine at aging, and it was aged in oak barrels. French oak is from France. I think they would never use American oak because everybody would make fun of them. And for 12 months. And they use natural yeast. Yeast is everywhere, but in the vineyards, it flies around the vineyards. It's flying in the air. It attaches itself to the skins of the grape, and when they're maceration it with it gets fully loaded with yeast, and that's how they use. They don't use commercial yeast, and they blended it together, and there you go. The owners of Chateau de Gretels, I have all that in the review itself, own vineyards in Argentina and in France, so they kind of do Malbec from both sides. I'm going to take a sip of this one because it's a nice, easy to drink wine. It's soft and smooth, and in the best way. For a $7.99 wine, even if it's about $4 cheaper if you went to a wine shop somewhere to get it at Costco. But on the edges, it has a little roughness to it, which I kind of like that in a wine where you kind of get this soft, smooth, little bit elegant wine, and then you get this little farmhouse edginess to it, which is like the best of both worlds, at least in my opinion, especially for a red wine. And that's what this has. So you get a little bit of easy to drink, soft and smooth, a touch of cream to it, blackberry, blueberry, maybe strawberries and cream, maybe plum, soft spices, a little bit of tannins. Tannins are a good thing. This is a wine that you could sip. A lot of times French wines are made to be consumed with wine, with the meal. And this one can very much do that, but it's also a sipping wine. I'll take another sip. I mean, it drinks really well. I was a little concerned because Cahors sometimes can be tannic. Not so much. Winemakers know how to lessen the tannins, because tannins can be a little bit, if you're not having a full meal, tannins could be a little rough on a wine. So that's it for me, Domain Dave. Chateau de Gretels Prestige Cahors 2021, long name, from Costco, $7.99, 90 points from a leading wine guy, and I agree with it. Like us, if you like your podcast, if you're searching for us, write podcast in when you're searching, because otherwise Google has us behind every single wine shop in the world. So if you put the podcast in, we jump them. So if you're looking for us, because we have a lot of stuff out there on wines, affordable wines, and we're not snooty, so there you go. So adios, keep it cheap, stay safe and warm, because it's getting weird with winter, but I'll be talking to you in a couple of days. Bye-bye.